Now time for the 7 things you'll be talking about today. Number 7.
I'm a big fan of these microreactors. They are trying to get not only at Redstone Arsenal, but elsewhere. I want to make a pitch here. I don't think this is doable. But before I get too far into the story, what about all these data centers that people want to bring in? What if we only allow them to come if they set up their own microreactors and power the surrounding communities as well for cheaper? I don't know. Call me a crazy person. Maybe that's the way we can look at this. Anyway, U.S. Representative Dale Strong pushed a move to the Secretary of the Army touting the qualifications of Redstone Arsenal to host a microreactor power plant in order to help with other parts of the military mission at Redstone. I like this idea. I want to see more of this. I want people to push for these things. And this could really help with the power drain we've seen here in North Alabama.
Number 6.
Black Friday. Oh, I'm sorry. African American Friday. Oh, wait. This one we can't say. Okay, we can say Black Friday. Okay, good. Black Friday 2025 spending surged 9.1% online to $11.8 billion. Despite tariffs and expert projections, which were wrong again, in-store gains of 1.7% were driven by apparel ahead of Cyber Monday, a made-up day to get you to spend even more money. So get on your internet for Cyber Monday, even though online spending surged 9.1% for Black Friday. But today is the very special day where you shop online and spend your money. So get in there on Cyber Monday, guys. The totally not made up thing. Totally not. You need to spend all your money today. Go do it right now.
Number 5.
But you can't buy this. Wait, can you buy this online? Retailers are continuing to fret about Alabama's new hemp law effective January 1st, 2026, as it caps THC at 10 milligrams per serving for edibles and beverages, bans smokables, and limits sales to adults 21 plus in licensed specialty shops and large grocery stores. It adds a 10% tax and requires licensing amid $15 million in annual sales as a federal ban looms as well. God, could we possibly be getting reasonable on this? Could we really be doing this? Could we be doing this? There's a lot of attempts to undo this on the federal level and on the state level. I'm hoping, much like the lottery, this just gets caught in a logjam and we roll with the status quo.
Number 4.
Oh, those poor librarians in Fairhope. Oh, no! Somebody help them! Oh, wait, you guys are helping them. They're going to cut services, even though it received a bunch of donations. You see, around the state, a bunch of people were like, what do you mean you're not going to continue funding this library? Don't you know we have drag queens that need to come in here and read pornography to children? Well, their funding was cut off because people said, hey, you've got inappropriate materials in the children and teen sections. And the library's like, yeah, that's cool. We're going to keep it there. And everyone said, okay, cool. You're not going to follow the law. So this year we're going to cut your funding. Now, they raised a bunch of money from a Chicago-based progressive crowdfunding source, Friends of Pedophiles or whatever they're called. It's not actually that. But apparently they're still going to have to make some cuts. Maybe they should stop.
Number 3.
Lane Kiffin's sudden move to LSU upended the SEC coaching searches that were ongoing, and they caused some problems. You had Florida. They were targeting Lane Kiffin. They failed, so they went after the person that was being targeted by Auburn, Huntsville native John Sumrall. He is now the head coach at the University of Florida, leaving Auburn to surprisingly hire South Florida's Alex Golesh. Now, I'll just say this. The move for the former South Florida coach actually came before Sumrall was officially announced at Florida, but it was expected that was what was happening. So it all had a little bit of a trickle-down effect. Everyone's mad at Lane Kiffin. I don't know. I'd leave my job for a much better situation, guaranteed money and all this other stuff, and I think you would too.
Number 2.
Alabama U.S. Rep. Mike Rogers, the House Armed Service Committee chairman, pledged to rigorous bipartisan oversight by the Department of Defense's Caribbean operations. Oh my God, that sounds scary. Oh my God, that is terrifying. I thought it was the Department of War. What's going on here? Yeah, I believe it's the Department of War, so let's make sure we call it the right thing, guys. But the Department of War's Caribbean operations are under scrutiny following allegations that they have been double-tapping terrorists, meaning they'd shoot their boat with a bomb, and if some people were hanging on the side, or a missile or whatever, and they would be hanging on the side, they'd just go ahead and hit them again. I don't really care. Sounds cool to me. But there's a lot of consternation about this. Been called fake news. Did it actually happen? Can't wait to find out.
Now, time for the number 1 thing you'll be talking about today.
An Afghan immigrant admitted under Biden's Operation Allies Welcome and granted asylum in April of this year by a Biden appointee, by the way. Let's make sure we understand that, since a lot of lies are being told on this. It killed National Guard member Sarah Beckstrom and injured Andrew Wolf in a D.C. shooting over the weekend, prompting President Trump's halt on all asylum and Afghan visas for vetting reviews. The White House is rebuking media and their Democrats who are out there suggesting that Donald Trump is to blame. I'm just gonna point something out here, and I've said this already, but I'm gonna just do this. I think it's important to note that if Donald Trump is to blame, then the Trump administration should really do something about this. Okay, let's accept their premise. I'm going to accept the premise of the media here. I think they lie a lot. I think there's a pretty good chance they're lying about the double tapping. And it doesn't matter. We're already reacting as if it is true. War crimes, all this. What about due process? They didn't drop a lawyer on these boats and say, hey, guys, you guys doing drugs here? Dealing drugs? What are you doing? Yeah, no, you're not? Okay, well, then continue on. They didn't do that. They said drone strike them or missile strike them, and it doesn't matter. But they then double tap them, at least we're told. We're being told that's fake news. But I'm going to accept the premise that this is true, that Donald Trump himself personally vetted this Afghan immigrant, since Donald Trump has been so big on letting in Afghan immigrants, like when he said don't do it when it was happening, and he tried to end the program since he's been president, and the courts stopped him. Super big fan of these things, okay? I mean, it's really obvious that this is all his fault. I accept your premise. And I believe that it is up to Donald Trump to stop this. So I also support President Donald Trump's halt on asylum and Afghan visas. I mean, it's the only thing to do. Donald Trump made this murder happen, so he is responsible for cleaning it up and stopping Afghans from coming in the country and kicking the ones that are in here out. Seems like a reasonable way for Donald Trump to clean up totally his own mess. Now, they want to complain about this? Well, sorry, you're the ones that said Donald Trump did it. So he should have to clean it up. So they want to blame Trump for this, and now they want to complain that he's trying to do something. Isn't it weird that they can both at the same time say that this is Donald Trump's fault and it never should have happened, we should have better vetting, and hey, we don't need better vetting. What are you doing? You can't stop this. Everything's fine. It's weird. It's almost like damn Democrats got it good. The media and their Democrats are working together to sell a story that is illogical and ridiculous, and they don't care about the actual facts. Anyway, Trump did this. It's 100% his fault, and he should stop all the people from coming into this country and vet the ones that are here. But before they should do that, they should put a lot of them out, too. I agree with the media. That seems to be the message they're pushing, at least halfway. And then they say, hey, These guys are all bad guys, and Donald Trump let them in, but we should let them stay because it's good for America. That's the back end of their message, which, of course, makes very little sense. You can get your thoughts in, especially on the idea of whether or not we should call it Black Friday still. Big problem in our society. I like African American Friday because it just sounds incredibly stupid. Okay? So let's just start calling it that. I'm just trying to be politically correct. Let's take a timeout. I'm Dale Jackson. We'll be right back.
Get WBNN's Dale Jackson's 7 Things You Should Be Talking About Today right in your email box every morning. Go to yellowhammernews.com and sign up today.